Among the 4 Gospel writers in the New Testament, Luke has a special distinction. He uses the word save, salvation, and Savior far more frequently than any other Gospel evangelist. Matthew and Mark never use the word salvation, John uses it only once, but Luke uses it 4 times. Similarly, Matthew and Mark never use the word Savior, John uses it only once, but Luke uses it 3 times. All of this is to say that Luke's Gospel is aptly characterized as the Gospel of salvation. And what is unique to Luke is the way salvation encompasses every aspect of the human condition. For Luke, the Savior brings us salvation not only from the dangers of sin and death, but also from the dangers of poverty, loss, hunger, sickness, and oppression. The very first time that the word Savior occurs in Luke's Gospel is in the 1st chapter, in the poetic words of Mary, in her prophetic utterance known as the Magnificat. The Magnificat is so named for the first word in the Latin version of Mary's prophetic utterance. My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Saviour. Mary's praise of God as Saviour should not escape notice, it should not be glossed over as mere poetic rhetoric. Her confession, Saviour, magnifies the greatness of God in a way that the confessions of the proud, or the lofty, or the enthroned, or the powerful, or the rich, cannot. Mary is a lowly servant, a poor peasant from Galilee. She is a person of no means, as she admits in the next line of the Magnificat. He has looked with favor on the lowliness of his servant. Mary's confession, Saviour, expresses the desperate need of the lowly, the poor, the stranger, the marginalized, the oppressed, the hungry. Those who have power and means, privilege and position, have no need to be saved from poverty. They have no plight, no peril, no danger, sufficient to lead them to plea for help, to cry for a Saviour. Thus, the powerful are oblivious to what it truly means to need a Saviour. The proud are excluded from the confession that leads to the joy of salvation. To confess, as Mary does, that God is my Saviour, is to confess one's desperate need, the need for another who is greater than one's own strength. Saviour is the confession of the poor and the hungry, precisely because they lack the means to lift themselves up from their own poverty and hunger. My Christian friends, I invite you to ponder deeply whether we can confess with integrity, with sincerity, with tangibility that God is Saviour. If you are like me, you have not really known true personal poverty. If you are like me, you have probably never wondered whether you would have a next meal. Do we really know what it truly means to need a Saviour? Can we really experience the true joy of salvation? Perhaps the best way we can prepare for the coming of our Saviour is to deny ourselves, to deny our pride, our means, our privilege, our position. Perhaps our best way to confess a Saviour is to deny our own means, and to share with those who have no means to save themselves. Perhaps then our souls will magnify the Lord. My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Saviour, for he has looked with favour on the lowliness of his servant. Surely, from now on all generations will call me blessed, for the Mighty One has done great things for me, and holy is his name. His mercy is for those who fear him from generation to generation. He has shown strength with his arm, he has scattered the proud in the thoughts of their hearts. He has brought down the powerful from their thrones, and lifted up the lowly. He has filled the hungry with good things, and sent the rich away empty. He has helped his servant Israel, in remembrance of his mercy, according to the promise he made to our ancestors, to Abraham and to his descendants forever.